Welcome to the Sorcerer Weekly podcast. It is March 22nd, 2020. This is a brand new project myself and my co-host are working on. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you guys would introduce yourselves.
Yeah, for sure. I'm the King of Uncool. I run the Fairy Tale Wiki's Twitter account. I'm also a former member of the Fairy Tale Wiki. I'm marginally active these days. I used to be a chat moderator as well when we had our own chat room, and I helped out with editing, vandalism work, occasional site editing on other areas as well. And I was recently asked to become a member of this podcast, and I'm interested in seeing how we work together here. So I'm glad to be here, guys.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a member of the Wiki. I think I joined about 6, 7 years ago, and I'm also a mod on the Reddit server Discord. So I'm really interested to see how this podcast goes because it's something that I've been wanting to work on for a while. So yeah.
My name's Dav. I'm a member of the server Discord, and I was invited to come and talk on the podcast, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm sure it's going to be one of the most successful podcasts that we've come up with.
And as many of you know by my voice, I'm Spidey. I run the Reddit and other things. We'll get more on what we do individually later on. But for now, I want to get your guys' initial reaction to when we discussed having a podcast.
I think I've spoken to a few people about the podcast and people seem to be interested, but I'm excited to see how people react to this because I feel like we have like a pretty good dynamic so far anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I've done podcasts before, and as some of you might know, I'm currently doing a podcast called the Fairy Tale Wiki Twitter Talk, where I interview people who are followers of the Fairy Tale Wiki Twitter account and also content creators to some extent, because I want to create more community involvement and get people to meet and know other fairy tale fans. So I think this is also a pretty good outlet for that because now I get a little bit more involved in the Discord server side of things. And this will be run by a group of people and it's not just me alone. So I can kind of, share the responsibilities as it were.
Okay, yeah. Whenever Michelle mentioned it to me first, I was like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. It's a chance for us to talk about all the different shows. I know that Ravemaster isn't really as active and as popular as it is now as it was, but it's still a chance for every series that he's done to be spoken about in depth and in detail. And I can see a lot of people enjoying it, especially as the episodes go on and the more in depth it gets.
So yeah, like I said, we all had our own version or idea of this. Eventually we all talked and we essentially agreed to make a podcast because like Michelle, King, and Dav mentioned, we wanted a form of a outlet for people to hear others engage in conversation regarding all these series we love from Hiro Mashima, whether it be the spin-offs with 100 Years Quest, Happy's Great Adventure, or Heroic Adventure, whichever you prefer, Fairy Tale City Hero, Eden Zero, his new series, or his old series, Monster Orage, Monster Soul, or Rave Master. Now that we've got how we started this out the way, we're going to talk a bit about ourselves just so everybody gets a feel of where we come from the fandom. I know we kind of discussed it a little in our introduction, but we're going to go a little bit more in detail. For myself, I help with Sorcerer Weekly. Sorcerer Weekly helps provide translations for the newest chapters of the spin-offs of the sequel series and of his other series. So whether it be Heroes, which is a collaboration between Ravemaster, Eden Zero, and Fairy Tale, whether it be Eden Zero itself, which is a series that's fairly well received and deserves a lot of credit for being so unique in my opinion, or whether it be 100 Years Quest, where he helps write the storyboard or draw the storyboard. I also help with the Reddit. That's where I started my fandom Reddit, where 5 years ago, about 6 years ago to be exact, I just joined it and essentially inserted my flag and was like, this is my territory now, because it was rather inactive and dead, and I felt like a series like Fairy Tail deserved to have an active and great community, and everything we've done since then has shown how great the community for Fairy Tail could be. And as they mentioned before, also we have the Discord server where we talk and interact and host all these events and have all these conversations with people, just so we get to know each other, interact with each other. And it's, as I mentioned in the Fairy Tail Wiki Twitter talk, it's a little safe haven for Mashima fans. So they won't have to worry about being criticized or like made fun of for liking a Mashima series. And oh my god, it's just an ass pool series or whatever. It's a little safe place where they could talk, discuss, and not worry about being judged for liking any of the series that I've mentioned before. Now, if Michelle, if you want to expand on how you got started in the fandom.
So I think I started watching Fairy Tail in 2012, and I used to write like fan fiction for it when I was about 13, 14. And so I used the wiki to look for information whenever I was trying to confirm stuff. And the wiki used to have like a pretty active chat as part of it, which some of you might already know. So that was about 6, 7 years ago. And I was never really like an active editor of the wiki, but I was pretty active in terms of the community. Like I met loads of good people there, including King actually, and yeah, some people there that I have just kept in contact with over the last 6 years. And so because of that, that's why I decided to join the server once I found out about it, once I decided to get back into just like anime in general, and I wanted to get back into the community. And so I checked out the server, and from there I've just been a pretty active user. I've been working on affiliations with Spidey, with other wikis like the Eden Zero wiki we're working on, and then also the Rave Master wiki, which we are affiliated with now. And I just liked the fact that the Mashima series in general have a really good sense of community, and I think a lot of that comes from the series itself, because there is such a focus around friendship and that kind of thing, which is really cool. And I'm just looking forward to seeing the community grow, really, because it is a safe space for people, and it's nice for people to get together and just be able to talk about things that they enjoy and kind of like debate things in a healthy environment rather than a toxic one. So
Yeah, definitely. And if the joke is, if you don't follow the rules, you get banned. So, um, King, if you want to talk about how you got started in the fandom and where you came from, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. I first discovered Fairy Tail around about a decade ago, so I was just kind of watching it on TV, and eventually I got into the manga, and then I went onto the wiki, just did a little editing. Well, this was way back in 2011, and it wasn't until early 2012 that I actually became an active user, mainly because there's a blog system you can post blogs and review stuff or talk and whatever. And I just saw a bunch of people who were more senior users than I, who were just chatting and making fun of each other, and it just seemed like a very chill, easygoing kind of place where people could be, very open and do whatever they wanted. So I just enjoyed it, and then I joined and became a pretty prolific editor. I would eventually get to the point of being a chat moderator and a head of the policy and standards group that would like enforce rules such that if an administrator would go on an extended leave, then I would basically take over their spot for about a month or so, give or take. And this continued for a couple of years up until the point where I decided to just stop reading the series because I wasn't really enjoying it anymore. And then eventually the series ended, and somewhere around the middle of that time frame, I started doing the Fairy Tail Wiki Twitter, mainly because it wasn't as active and I thought there was a lot of potential for it. And even if I wasn't really keeping up with the series, I thought there was still enough I could do in terms of social media to, teach myself about it while also growing community and having a way for people to have fun with other people, because there's nothing really better than you liking the series and then finding someone else who likes that series. Then you go off and you like the series together and you have a good conversation or whatever. And I thought it was a pretty good avenue for that, and I think it has been. And along the way, I decided that we should do it in a more intimate manner, and that's when I came up with the Fairy Tale Wiki Twitter Talk project. We've done 8 episodes so far. We're going for 12, possibly 13, and we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, that's pretty much my story.
Kind of sounds like you have the most experience, if you will, with the series, because I started a few years back. So I know Dav started about a year or two ago. Michelle, same with her, So in terms of longevity, you've had the longest tenure, if you will, with the fairy tale series. So you essentially seen the ups and the downs and the growth throughout its entire run, basically. Well, at least for the anime, because the anime did start in '09. But
Yep,
that's pretty impressive.
that's essentially it. Yeah.
Dav, what about yourself?
Like you said about the couple of years, I've only actually been part of it since last July. That's when I started Fairy Tale. Got into it because a bunch of my friends watched it. They said it was great. Gave it a go, and I was hooked right from the beginning. And then once I'd finished the show, I joined the Discord halfway through to ask someone about one of the songs, and then I left again just because of spoilers. Rejoined at the end, and ever since rejoining, I've been a bit overly active in the Discord, I guess you could say.
Yes, you have. I could confirm that you have been relatively active since your return, at least chatting a few hours every day. And by few hours, I mean like 10 or 12. So,
Well, I've always got Discord open because I've got with a few of the other servers that I own. I've always got it open, so there's a chance for me just to talk. And with obviously most of the server being in another time zone, the mornings are quite quiet, but at least there's someone there to welcome new people in. But that's basically and then with Eden Zero, I'm loving it. I'm glad there's a new show that can keep the Mashima theme going, and it's doing it very well. But that's basically just my introduction into Fairy Tail or to Mashima was pretty simple. Friends said it was great. I was in a bit of a rough place at the time, and that's where it went, and that's where I am.
see, that's kind of cool because, right, Mashima's themes are all about friendship, family, and bonds. From the freaking beginning, you have Natsu welcoming Lucy to the guild, even though he doesn't know who the hell she is. He's like, "Oh, you want to go to the guild? Let's go." And you have Mashima. I mean, not Mashima. Oh yeah, Mashima wrote it, but you have Natsu going to find Romeo's dad in Mount Hakobe, and all these familial themes and these bond-like themes are something that resonate
Yeah,
with fairy tale in general.
it's all linked. It all works out very well. All of his series are the same kind of idea: loyalty, friendship, bonds, and you'll always see it as a reoccurring theme. It's never something that comes out randomly. It's always something that is there, and you can sense it even from reading or watching. I know people get a different experience from reading versus watching, but whichever way you experience it, you're going to have that feeling.
No,
I
yeah,
think
definitely. Go ahead, Michelle.
I think that's why I liked it so much when I first started it. Because I think Fairy Tail was the first kind of anime that I watched that was like a long one rather than just like a short series. And I think I just really liked that familial and the sense of community and bonding, because I'm quite a family oriented person, and I'm like, I value my friendships and relationships with other people a lot. I'm not really fond of superficial relationships and stuff. So I think that's why I liked it so much, because I related to it, and also it was just nice to watch something that was just kind of wholesome, but also really like action packed and just interesting.
No, yeah, that's literally it, right? Everybody whether they want to admit it or not, has that sense of family or that sense of belonging that they want to experience or that they do experience. And Fairy Tail just brings that out.
Fairy Tail definitely
100%.
gives you that that feeling of belonging. Like you said, you're not part of the show yourself, but you learn about so many of the characters, even if they're a minor character, that you know them like the back of your hand by the end of the show.
Even Mest. Who's
Even
your
Mest.
favorite?
Then you get Nab as well. You know
I'm
them like the
happy
back of your
Go
hand.
again.
One thing that we will get into in the conversation towards is Eden Zero. But since we all started with Fairy Tail, I want to get your guys' favorite characters. I know we've discussed this in our own individual Twitter talks, but maybe since then, we've had our opinion change, or maybe not. So, whoever wants to go first, your favorite character, your least favorite character, and maybe a why.
My favorite character right at the bat, Juvia. Simply just like I said in my Twitter talk, there was the whole adorable factor with her. She loves Gray unconditionally. I hate Gray, but the love that she has for him is unconditional, like I said, and pure. And her magic, I wish she was a more versatile with her magic, like she was when you first met her. Now she seems just always a water whip or water slicer. That's about it.
That's
Yeah.
Gray in a nutshell too, though. Gray's signature move is Ice Make Hammer.
And then
You don't
just
even
come
need
with
to
Ice
know
Shovel.
You don't even need to read Japanese to know when he's fighting that it's gonna be Ice Make Hammer or Ice
Yeah.
Make Lance.
Least favorite, I would say Mest, but like I said in my own Twitter talk, that's the cliche answer. Go with Lecter. Design is awful. Character is just annoying.
Hell no! You're not disrespecting my boy Lecter like
Nah,
that.
Lecter's every time he talks, I was just like, stop, just stop,
I
man.
don't understand your issue with Lecter, man.
How do
Huh?
you hate
Find
Lecter,
it.
but how do you hate Lecter but tolerate Frosh?
No, but okay, no, Frosh, all right, Frosh is cute, but I don't want to have to see him every
Frosh
time.
is
Frosh is a
we could
mess.
swear. I
Frosh
don't
is a
think we could
mess.
swear in this. You're lucky we can't swear in this. Frosh is a freaking fool.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm not. Frosh is an idiot. I'm not disagreeing at all. Just Lecter, just look, bro, fix your hair. Stop.
At least Lecter could say something other than Frosh thinks so too.
King, I want your opinion on Happy. I know
We'll
you
get
love
to that
him. I know
later.
you're a very big fan.
How do you hate Happy? Oh, you know what? I don't.
We
I can
will
see
get
where
to
you
that
hate
later.
Happy.
This is where I get kicked out of the server.
King's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys have your moment because I'm about to unleash an epic rant on Happy
Go on, King.
in
Let's
a
hear
few
it.
minutes.
Let's hear. I want the least favorite first from King.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah, King, unleash.
I mean, Sorry, I was making sure I wasn't muted. My least favorite character is Happy. It's been quite a well-known fact on the Fairy Tail Wiki for several years now. In the original podcast we did, in the second episode, in fact, I actually said that I wanted to kill Happy had I the chance to kill any specific Fairy Tail character of my choosing.
Jesus.
Following which the response was collectively, what? And then sometime later in the beginning of the Tartarus Arc, I think everybody remembers a rather noteworthy scene where Jackal is about to self-destruct and take the town with him.
And
Following
Happy
which
went full badass.
Following which Happy lifted him up into the sky and let the explosion happen in the sky. And the chapter ended with him suffering essentially no damage except for his singed fur and a burnt afro, because apparently that's funny. I don't find afros funny, for the record. But as a general fact, I do not like sidekick talking animals. I dislike Happy. I dislike Cone in Bleach, who's a stuffed lion for those who don't know Bleach. I don't like Oolong in Dragon Ball Z, who's a little talking
Whoa.
pig who follows around Goku and the like. In
But
general,
to be
I find
fair,
these...
hold
What?
on. I'm sorry I interrupted. To be fair, Oolong isn't doing real shit. I don't know about
Yeah.
Bleach, but my boy is Happy. What? Continue.
Again, I find that I find these characters to be very gimmicky and fundamentally unnecessary. They really only exist for marketing purposes and for having the cuteness factor. I think it's pretty unnecessary. Most of the series would exist essentially fine without him. I just think he's unnecessary, and I dislike how he's always at the center of moments in the series that I particularly hate. That
What about
particular
Carla?
moment where, sorry.
What about Carla?
Carla, we can get to her. I should add that if that's your question, I don't like her either, but I do find her to be of more value than Happy because she has more dramatic narrative.
It was more because you hate the whole animals aspect of it. So I was wondering how you feel about the Xyz in total, because it feels like you just want to exterminate the Xyz.
Let me put it like this: I dislike Happy, Carla, and Lecter. When it comes to Frosh, I'm pretty neutral, mainly because I find him to be equally as necessary, but I did laugh at his particular episode that was called Frosh Come Home, where he got lost or something and then he had to make his way home. I found that amusing, though it's not. I'm certainly not arguing that it's a good episode. I'm just saying that I found it amusing. So I have a more neutral view of that character, but I like Panther Lily.
You disgust me.
Wait, Frosh is necessary. What?
No, I didn't say he was necessary. I said he was neutral.
Oh my god!
No, I thought you said
no,
Frosh is
yeah, he
necessary.
didn't. No, he didn't say.
No.
My bad.
He said a lot of. He said a lot of suspect things, if you will. But
I am
he didn't say
not a
that.
stranger to having an unpopular opinion.
No.
You know what? You know what? I have a request.
Mhm.
Read the first 30 or so chapters of Happy's heroic adventure.
It's good.
Because some of the problems and issues you have with Happy in the main series, which I do agree with some of them, not all. First of all, I would never kill off Happy because it's Happy, bro. What the?
Man's name is Happy.
It's like killing Natsu. Like, who does that? That's so rude.
I would be okay with that too.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started.
That hit me kind of hard, you know.
Anyway, before like, and no,
Wait,
so
so
Happy.
King, who's your favorite character?
Ooh, that's a good question. For the longest time, I've generally said I don't have a specific character. There's just a general group of characters that I have a particular, I have a good view of. Yeah, like a fondness for. There's obviously very funny. As everyone knows, like I'm a guy. There will be like every guy has like a specific girl in the series that they like for an inexplicable reason or whatever. I don't know who your guys is. For Dav, I'm guessing that's Juvia, and I'm guessing Michelle has a guy of some sort or a girl. I don't know.
Ichiya.
So as far as
yeah, who's yours?
My girl is Eclair from the Fairy Tale movie.
Oh yeah, I remember.
What?
I remember that.
I'm sorry.
Oh my!
I accept that. Considering the lack of testing that's currently going on around the world, I think that we could all use some tests, but we will get to that later. And as far as the mainstream plot-relevant characters go, I would probably have to say Jalal. When he was originally introduced in the Tower of Heaven arc, I thought that up to that point, he was probably the best villain. Chessmaster-esque move with the Seagrain and the Magic Council and how he orchestrated the kidnapping to build the Tower of Heaven over the course of 10 years as essentially a villain who has pretty much, you could say he had too many resources on his hand. But I like that dynamic. I think that arc as a whole was pretty good, and I do like the subsequent building we did later on with him, like the backstory with Wendy, which was explained briefly in the Nirvana arc, and then how he, kind of helped out Fairy Tale with the Grand Magic Games, and when he was helping messed on the side with the Tartarus case. And at the end of the series, he's the one who's trying to take on Acnologia one by one. Like, that dude has some massive balls right there.
Well, the backstory with Wendy is more of a Mystican.
Yeah.
Not Jalal, but...
Oh, wow, I totally messed that up.
I
Jalal in that arc again?
Jalal didn't
He was
do
there,
much.
right?
Yeah, he fought with... Yeah, no. So no, you're correct. He was
Yeah,
in the
sorry.
arc and he was arrested.
I messed up the plot, but for the most part, that doesn't necessarily change my
Yeah.
opinion.
I quite
Yeah,
like
you
Jalal
get
too.
it.
Because it's
Yeah,
also pretty
yeah.
minor in that arc. I like this stuff as well that went happened later with the Grand Magic Games and the Alvarez fight against Acnologia. And of course the Tower of Heaven, because that's OG right there.
You
Look, I
got me
quite like
signed
him.
too early. You got me signed too early in this freaking podcast. What is wrong with you?
Wait, what?
He's done. He's finished.
I'm done.
I quite
First
like
of
Jalal
all,
as well. Actually.
first of all, going back to my thing, I recommend you read Happy's heroic adventure because it really does flesh out Happy and it gives him character development that Hiro Mashima could never do in 545 chapters. You get character development and Happy's heroic adventure within first 10 chapters, and Mashima couldn't do that in 545 chapters. That's the first point. Second point.
I'm listening.
Claire. You may as
You
well
got it
say
right.
Daphne. You may as well say Daphne. Oh my god.
I don't dislike Daphne. I just found her
Oh.
weird.
Wait, who's
But not
Daphne?
clear.
She
Daphne
was
is
from
the
one of
one
the
with
filler
the
arcs.
the best filler arc because the other ones are trash. But
Wait, who is she again?
There's only like 3
Whoa,
filler
whoa.
arcs, really.
yeah,
Daphne was
there's
the saleswoman.
the-
she was a saleswoman first.
No,
the one.
well,
No,
kind
she,
of.
she wanted to be a dragon really bad, and she was more high than King of Uncle because
That's unlikely. I'm incredibly high.
I actually
but
do not
with your
remember her.
responses, I don't disagree.
Daphne is the one that made that Grey to try to help.
She
Yeah.
basically
Natsu.
said hi all the time.
Oh,
She's concealment magic to create that massive mansion, but it was just a dragon.
But
Yeah, the mechanical dragon.
Yeah.
wait,
Pretty sure that's the first time we saw the Unison raid, I think.
yeah, was the first.
Well, it was the Grey and Juvia
Grey and
Unison
Juvia's
raid, but
one,
that
yeah.
wasn't like canon.
Well, it was canon to the anime, but we'll let Dev have
Yeah,
his
that's not how
moment.
that works.
Yeah, let me have it.
But
man.
come on, you had some more criticism you wanted to throw at me. I assume.
Yes. How do you like Jalal?
Okay.
Angst-
How do I like what?
Hold on. Unpopular
I didn't hear
opinion
that.
time.
Jalal,
Unpopular opinion of time. Ichigo is a better written, better developed, better overall character than Jalal.
No,
All
Hard to
Jalal
disagree.
has,
that is
all that
incorrect.
Jalal has, all
Bruh.
that Jalal has is the stupid looks that he stole from Mistigan. Second of all, who's
What
the
the
one
fuck?
who actually ends up? I'm joking that he stole the looks from Mistigan because they're basically copies of each other from different
They're
worlds.
they're doppelgangers. So your point doesn't really make any sense.
No, yeah. Okay, I was joking about that. Chill. But first of all,
All right, go on.
Again.
Go on.
going on. Who saved the Thunder Legion from the Spriggan? Oh, that's right. It wasn't no bum ass Jalal. It was Ichigo. Who saved Team Natsu in Alvarez? All right. It wasn't bum ass Jalal. It was motherfucking Ichigo.
All right.
Do we seriously have to list out people's accomplishments to justify how good they are as a character? That's ridiculous. Obviously, the characters who've been around for a longer time are going to have more to their name. That doesn't really
Ichigo
work
was
that way.
around after Jalal, though. Ichigo came out after Jalal.
I'm not talking about. Well, for one thing, Jalal was a villain for like half the series, so even that, if in that sense, it works against
half the series. Man, what are you on? Half the series. It was like 4 arcs. What are you talking about?
It was up until like what, chapter 250 or something, and then he became a good guy.
Which is about half the series, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Sure, it's fine. I disagree. I disagree completely. I disagree wholeheartedly.
No shit, you disagree.
Jalal's not that bad of a character. So the problem I have with Jalal, I like the character. I like his magic and stuff.
Let's not even mention.
Yeah, but he just gets like completely like every time he goes to do something, it's just like no. You're useless, stop. And then like he hasn't had like he had Natsu the fight in Tower of Heaven. And then every fight after that, it was just like like there was a fight against the Ratian Sace, or he just cut his eyes out. I'm blind now. Ooh. Oh.
He went full Oedipus Rex.
Yeah, but
I
like,
really
anyway.
like Janelle.
Okay.
Okay,
Again, I think you guys are
the
you guys are
reason I had to
misunderstanding my
point out.
point once again. I'm not arguing that he has the best fights or that he's the most, fantastical character. I'm saying that I liked his development over the course of the series, and I found that he was well written. I'm not saying he's perfect, and I obviously do actually agree with a more general criticism of his character that he's too angsty and that he kind of beats himself up too long. But even that seems like maybe I'm getting into a little bit of a spoiler territory, but with the sequel series, that actually seems like it's being resolved. So I think there's been perfectly good development along the way. Now, sure, Ichiya's had heroic moments. I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying that it doesn't really detract from Jalal as a character.
I could agree with you. I agree with you. I just wish Jalal had more like of a major.
I wish he had
impact.
better fights.
Yeah,
I legitimately wish he had better fights. But I still like the fact that, again, think about him fighting Aknologia. It's obvious that no one can 1v1 the guy, but he's trying. I appreciate
Why
it.
would he fight Actologia with his
He was trying to earn
his
he's
entire
trying to
mission
get
in
to
life? Hold on. His entire mission in life was to fight Zareth. But no,
So?
this dumb mother bleeper decides, let me fight Actologia. Why wouldn't he go fight for Zareth? He's been crying
because
about
fucking Urza's there. Hello?
when he's been wet dreaming about Zareth for more than half the goddamn series since the goddamn beginning with the R system. And then he's like, nah, you know what? Let me go fight Acno.
He was under mind control way back when, and it was only after the Grand Magic game, during and after the Grand Magic games, that then he decided he needs to eliminate the influence of dark guilds. But even then, a lot of that does stem from the general theme of dark magic, and Acnologia is heavily responsible for that. And again, Urza as a character is the one he cares for, so obviously he's going to be where she is. Like, I don't see the
It made complete sense to me, yeah.
He made the choice to save Urza and Wendy.
He didn't do shit. That's the problem.
He didn't do anything, but he made the choice to attempt to.
His intention was pretty clear, yeah. And I think it was pretty respectable.
We'll disagree there. I clearly have the most unpopular opinion in this, and I'm sure that Jerza fans are going to attack me. But the law.
No, I really liked Jalal. He was my favorite character for like a really long time. I don't know if I really.
No. Well, I was gonna agree with King in this aspect though. In the sequel, he is better. I do like his character in the sequel, but in the original series, my God, man, my God,
where he is now in 100 Crest is great.
I feel like I really like his character type just because I feel like I'm like angsty boys, but I really like his character development though throughout the series. Like I really liked the Tower of Heaven arc. That's one of my favorites. And then just seeing his progression throughout the series, even though we didn't get to see him with super like impressive fights or anything like that. I think his growth as a character and his intentions and stuff were pretty clear throughout. I think it's really cool seeing him go from like a villain to like a cool villain as well, like one of the more prominent ones, to a character who, for the most part, I think we can definitely like trust, and I really enjoy seeing him as part of 100-year quest as well. So yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite boys. And my favorite is definitely Natsu.
Goddamn, I see someone knows. So that's what's up. Continue.
I
Praise
really
Natsu
like
all
Natsu.
you want.
I like that he's been a very consistent character throughout, which is something that I really like about him. I don't like Grey. I won't lie.
Groovia fans are gonna kill us.
I really like Juvia. What is it that stupid? Do you know what really annoys me about Grey? The amount of times that he fucking goes to use ice shell. Is that what it is?
Yeah. That's all he knows. That's all he knows.
Every time he goes to do it, every time he goes to do it, someone convinces him not to. Okay, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I promise, I ain't ever gonna do that again." How many times has he whipped that out? 4 times, I swear.
3 or 4 times. He did it in
every time he does it, I'm like, "Oh, this shit again." Just do it. If you're gonna do it, then just do it.
I think he did it in Tenro.
Yeah, that really, really annoyed me. I used to really like Gray. I liked him in like pretty much the first half of the series, and then he went a bit berserk and he just turned into this not the kind of angsty guy I like, but he was just really angsty and really annoying. I hate that he just left Juvia. That really annoyed me. Um I just don't like him in general. Now anyway, I used to. But I really like Natsu as the main character. I don't usually like the main characters the most, but I think out of a lot of the characters, Natsu is really up there for me. I really like Gildarts and Gajil as well. And Jalel, obviously.
Gajil's pretty metal.
I really like Gajil. I like really,
Wow.
really like him.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Do
think
you
so
not like
too.
him?
I
I'd
got
like
the
to ask
dad
a question
jokes.
about your guys' opinions on Gray, though, particularly something that I've been thinking about for the last little while. When it comes to
Sure.
Gray's personality, outside of how it relates to other characters and his interpersonal relationships, what can you really tell me about Gray's personality?
Literally nothing.
Quite so.
Pretty
Guys,
chill. Pretty chill personality.
I like the pun.
Like-
I like the pun.
Huh?
He's
I like
not
the pun
chill.
on
He's
chill.
pretty
Oh.
cool.
These puns are going over my head.
Same
My
diff.
brain is confused now.
Spidey, what's your opinion?
I love the dynamic he has with Natsu, and in terms of the brotherly aspect.
No, I'm
Um,
asking about how it. outside of how it relates to other characters.
Just
Like him
just
as an
him,
individual.
his personality.
Oh no, that's what I was getting to get to. That's what I was trying to compliment Gray first, and then just smack him with the truth.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
That's right. So I love the dynamic he has with Natsu. Other than that, dude's got nothing. He's got less personality than Romeo.
Yeah, literally. So one of my issues with Gray is that him as a character just completely flipped. I feel like in contrast to Natsu, he didn't have much consistency at all with his character. He's very wishy-washy to me. Aside from his relationships with other people, I don't see anything other than the fact that he's a bit angsty and like he's just not consistent. Why does he keep using Ice Shell when he keeps saying he's not going?
Well, that's actually an incredibly consistent thing. If he keeps
Yeah,
using
that's
Ice
true.
Shell,
That's
it's
true,
actually
but if he says
consistent
he's
in
not
the wrong
going
way.
But if
Let's
he
not
says he's
forget,
not
though.
going to,
Well, it's great. That's my answer to you. Let's not forget, though, that he oftentimes seems like the irrelevant, forgotten character in most of the arcs.
mhm.
Because if we think about it, he really didn't get a power up until Tartarus, when Mashimo was like, "Oh shit, I'm building up this rivalry between him and Natsu. I should probably give him some power up. Here you go."
And also the fact that all the other main characters were scaling, because that's the same arc where Lucy had her Star Dress power unveiled, and Urza's also, through the Grand Magic Games arc, revealed that she has the super uber powerful armor that violates some degree of the magical law. And Natsu obviously has gotten many power-ups over the course of the series, like the Lightning Flame Dragon mode and whatnot. And it was probably at that point where he realized, oh shit, Gray has no power whatsoever. I guess I have to give him something now to keep him more or less on par.
And it just pissed me off because Gray literally gets a handshake and a hug from his goddamn father, and he gets a power up. No training whatsoever. Just
and then
a handshake and a hug.
And he can
like,
use
I have to
it
kill
without.
Natsu.
And he masters this bitch, right? Natsu has to train for a year to master part of Ignio's power, but Gray gets a handshake and a hug. Really? Get the fuck out of here!
I mean, my hatred for Gray is the way.
Because he has Julia.
No. This is an unpopular opinion, and I will fight it to the end of my life. Right? Okay. Without going into too much spoilers, but when final season comes up and he just leaves Juvia, just disappears and doesn't say anything to her, everyone's like, "Yeah, but he had to because of the mission." I'm like, no. Juvia wouldn't have said anything, right? Juvia can dip as well because she can just turn into water, and everyone's like, no, but you didn't have to tell her because mission. No, she sat there. The rain came back, bruv. The rain came back. Right? Look at what he did to her. 6 months.
So
Man,
so
was
all I'm
raining,
getting,
bruv.
all I'm getting is you don't like Gray because he hurt Juvia's feelings,
and also because he's literally just like when I first met him, his magic was cool, and then he used the same spell, then the same spell. Oh, I shall first time, same spell, and then I got bored. I was like, cool.
I know that
now.
I know Spider-Man's criticism of what you just said is that Gray quote unquote hurt Juvia's feelings, and I appreciate the comedic way of phrasing it, but I do think it speaks to a point that Michelle brought up about Gray being very wishy-washy and flippant.
Yeah.
That he can tell Juvia something that he's going to do, and then he just doesn't do it, and then he just essentially leaves her on the curb while he goes off with his friends for what's essentially an arbitrarily timed mission, because there's no sense of urgency as far as we know.
I also hate
It's
it.
existed for 100 years. It's clearly not something that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, it was
But
also,
at the same time, hold on.
As far as they know.
But at the same time, Natsu did the same thing, and I'm not hearing the same complaint towards Natsu.
Oh no! So
That's
okay,
because
yeah.
Natsu went with Lucy.
No, Natsu left.
No, this isn't. No, this isn't
After
100 Crest.
Tartarus,
This is Tartarus.
he left.
Well, we
After
can talk
Tartarus,
about
he
that
left.
later. But
He just abandoned the living shit out of Lucy.
Yeah, that's right.
I
I
don't
was
disagree
at
with that
least
point, but at the
Gray-
same time, he has come back, and Lucy has given him an earful.
Yeah, but okay, Natsu was gone for over a year. Gray was only gone for 6 months, and we're
Yeah. So
killing Gray for 6 months when Natsu left some illegible as letter.
The
And
thing
then
is,
comes
though,
back
Well,
like
Natsu
nothing
gets
happened.
criticism for that as well, and he
I-
rightfully should.
but you've also got to remember Natsu, right? Okay, he did that, but everyone knows Natsu's stupid enough and an idiot enough to do that. Gray should be somewhat smart enough to not do that to someone. But I also didn't like Urza because Urza was like, oh, I also told him not to tell anyone. So I was like, hey,
And there's
Urza,
also the
like you
fact that before the war, Gray did tell Juvia that he was going to tell her like in detail how he feels and whatnot. And as far as we can tell, he did not do that. So he did also break a promise as a result.
There's a difference between when Natsu left for a year and when Gray just abandoned Juvia, because when Natsu left, everyone parted ways. You know, I know he left Lucy, but like everyone went and did their own thing. But when that happened, Gray and Juvia were together, and then he literally just dipped one day out of the blue.
didn't say anything, just left.
Here's the thing, though. At least Gray apologizes. Natsu hasn't apologized for what he did.
Yeah, but Natsu's a bit of an idiot at the same time. Like,
We can't really use that as an excuse.
No, I'm not
He's
using.
a-
I don't forgive him for that either because I love Lucy as well. Lucy is my third favorite character after Gargil. But like, I don't know. I just hate the fact that Gray just, the rain came back, bro. The rain, right? We all know what the rain represents. It angered me.
We do.
Like when,
drip, drop.
like all my friends, when I saw that happen, right, I was relaying my reaction to my friends, and I was just like, guys, why is the rain back? And then like, oh, you'll see. And then when I found out why, I was going off. I was mad. I paused the episode and I was just mad. I just went off for about 10 minutes, raging at my friend, saying, I hate how can he do this? I was mad. And then after that, I've never forgiven him. I still haven't forgiven him. Screw Gray.
Okay, can I talk about my favorite characters now? Because we're
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even talked about
yes,
my
you
favorite
may.
or least favorite. But go ahead.
no one
Michelle.
cares about you, Spidey.
Go ahead. We already know your favorite is Mast. You've already shown us the shrine.
Oh,
now.
fuck off.
Oh, dude, that wall scroll that she has? Oh, man.
Huh?
What?
Huh?
What?
My favorite character is Brandish. She's best girl.
Them thighs, bro.
I
Oh,
love
crazy.
Brandish. I think I liked her from the first moment we saw her. I love her magic. I love how much she just doesn't give a fuck about anything and how she's just interested in her own thing. But I also like that she has a strong sense of like bonding with other people. Like her bond with August, is that his name? And then her bond with Aquarius.
That is his name.
She only has bonds with like two characters, the Mario and August.
Yeah, I
Nobody
know,
else.
but those bonds are important to her, and I think that's a theme that we don't really see a lot with quote unquote villains, you know, like they never seem to care
Oh,
about
okay.
that. But it was interesting to meet a villain who does care about her relationships with certain people. Because we didn't see that a lot with other people. And I just think she's a cool character.
Can she actually be considered a villain though? Because she didn't really do much. She was just chilling.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. She was very just self-serving, and that was what was cool to me, I think, because she was like part of the team that was like what we considered the villain team, you know, but she didn't actually really give a fuck about the war, and she just she was there for her own serving her own purpose basically, and I thought that was really cool. And I really like
Sorry, I just wanted to say that I appreciate Brandish partially because the flippantness that we see with Gray actually exists with Brandish, but it's much more central to her character, and it's for the most part much better developed. I think that the part about how she doesn't actually care about the war but still has some degree of loyalty to Alvarez for reasons that I don't necessarily know, because I think there are some aspects that weren't well explained. But I do think that I understand why somebody would have her as a favorite character, particularly because in the last arc she is of important significance, and it's not a surprise that she only has major relationships with 2 characters, because there's, again, not very much time, and you can probably argue that Lucy is one of the characters you can add to that list.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
definitely.
Di Maria, the other girl from Alvarez.
His girlfriend, her girlfriend.
Yes. Brandish is my girlfriend now, but Lucy is one of my favorite characters as well, because I was speaking earlier about character development, I think she has developed a huge amount in terms of like magical ability and physical strength. And a lot of people, I feel like, are going to shit on me for that, because people love to hate on female main characters. But I think it's great how much she developed, and I think people just have a tendency to shit on people who like don't have a focus on their physical strength in terms of their magic, you know. But Lucy, I think, is really cool, and I really respect her. And I feel like I have an unpopular opinion here. I'm not the biggest fan of Urza.
Oof.
I like
Dev,
Urza,
how do
but
you
I
feel?
can understand. I
was going to invite you to explain.
I really like her personality. I think she's got a very good personality and stuff. I just don't like the way her character was developed towards the end, in terms of the fact that she's too fucking OP. She is so OP. How far are we going with spoilers in this, by the way? Like, are we okay?
Let's just stick to the main series for now.
Okay,
and
cool.
Then we'll get to a section where we talk about
100 Year Quest.
Yeah, we'll talk about 100 Year Quest later. So just go talk about the main series for now, and then rant away.
So I remember the first time I read the Grand Magic Games arc, and she fought those, like, all of those 100 monsters. I thought that was so cool. I thought it was great. Didn't have any issues with it. But towards the end of the main series, when all her bones are fucking broken apart from one arm, and she stops a whole fucking meteor, that was too much for me. How? That's not okay. That is not okay. That's some bullshit right there. You see as a fucking anime, her body's jiggling around in the air. How?
If I'm not mistaken, in the manga it shows Wendy healing her partially, and then she does a little.
No amount of healing is gonna let anyone stop the fucking meteor.
Look, I can tell you why she was able to stop the meteorite. There's a good explanation.
If you
of it.
fucking
it's
say that it's because she's Urza, I'm going to leave this podcast right fucking now.
I definitely didn't post a picture in general. Look,
we have just lost King of Uncool.
Urza,
you son of a bitch.
Okay, I like Urza as a character, but I can agree that she is OP from the get-go. But the way I viewed her was she's this level that Natsu looks up to and wants to reach, right? Along with Gildots and that, but Gildots is so flipping far ahead that he just no. Urza is just that, Urza's the achievable goal that Natsu wants, because even when she was a kid, she's just slapping man about. Like, it doesn't even matter.
Like, I don't have an issue with that at all. I love the dynamic she has with Natsu and Grey, and like the elderly sisterly role that she takes on throughout the guild. I really like her character. I really like her personality. I just hate how OP she is, because I don't respect it at all. I have no respect for that final arc. None.
When Grey and Natsu are fighting and she just comes in the middle, and just stops it. That there was a point where I was like, okay, I feel like Urza should be dust right now.
That's like, what I want to be like as a mod.
The problem is that well, it's not even a problem. Is her endurance and her pain threshold is sky high. Remember in Tartarus, she was blind and all her feelings or whatever the fuck were amplified. Her senses, all the other senses were amplified, and she was enduring all that pain. You don't tell me this woman who just endured all that shit is going to be able to endure like some broken bones and use a power fist to punch up in the air?
I don't think Michelle would argue that makes it irrelevant what she did in the Alvarez arc, but I think she's pointing out that what happened even in the Tartarus arc, that specific fight against Kyoka, was itself something she doesn't like, because it's taking away from Urza's ability as a girl who's strategic and uses various armors to work around her opponent's strength to magnify her own, to somebody who just kind of, God mods their way through the fights.
She
Even
never
if she
really
had
uses
no
many
broken
armor. She only
bones.
uses she
Even
uses
if
the
she
same
had no
armor.
broken bones, man, she's stopping a fucking meteor. No. My science brain doesn't like that at all.
What science brain, bro?
The
That's
only
because she's
brain
Urza.
I have. My only brain.
Happy said it best. Happy said it best. She's
Yes.
Urza.
But
Happy
I can
has
agree
no
with
rights.
you. I can agree with you, Michelle. I love Urza, but the way I viewed it, like I said, she's just this reachable goal that was there for Natsu. And as we all know, Natsu's he's surpassed that now.
Yeah. I feel like my issue
great.
is not with her. I feel like my issue
It's
is
her
just with
writing.
the way she was written towards the
Yeah.
end. Yeah. And I don't
To
like
me,
that
I actually like the character development that she's had throughout the series, as well as the revelations about her past, depending on which one in particular you're talking about, because some of them I don't like. But I do think that as the series progressed, the fights that she got into did get increasingly unbelievable and not very interesting to look at, because at this point it's certainly the truth in fiction that the good guys will generally always win, but you still want a sense of suspense and anticipation. But with Urza, that just doesn't exist, because we know that, at least with her in particular, she's not going to win. She's not going to lose. She's always going to win. And like I said, you're always going to have that feeling in most fictional series, but you still kind of want a sense of dread, and that doesn't really exist, especially when you're getting to this point of having all of her senses taken away except for pain and having that amplified, and yet she's still able to stand up.
Yeah,
Well,
like
that's yeah. The problem is, from the very beginning, she was made to be this overpowered monster, and she
I
had no
have to
growth.
disagree with that right there. I don't think she was made out to be very overpowered from the beginning. Certainly she was the strongest individual member, but back then, during arcs like Phantom Lord or the Tower of Heaven arc, when she was fighting, it wasn't about just like plowing through her opponent. Sure, she could plow through like side soldiers, but when she actually had an opponent she had to fight, like Master Jose or Ikaruga, it wasn't just about power. It was also about trying to adjust the situation. When all her armors failed against Ikaruga, she realized that she can't split her focus between attack and defense. She had to go entirely all in on attack. And I think that actually makes sense. But once it's gone to these more ridiculous extents like it did in Tartarus or Alvarez, that's where fans start to dislike.
I can agree with that.
Look, Jose was a wizard saint. She was tanking his goddamn hits. If he's a wizard saint, she shouldn't be tanking shit. She should be getting one shot. She was taking him like a champ. She was taking him like a champ.
Hard disagree on that for a couple of reasons. For one thing, she was already very injured in that fight because she just tanked the hit from the Jupiter cannon and it put her out of commission for a while. And secondly, we also know that even though Jose was very strong, in the end it was just one spell from the Master, sure his strongest one, that took him out. It isn't really about, in that case, power. Like, again, it's about strategy.
But you just said it yourself, though. She was injured and she was still able to take his hits, even though she was injured.
Right, but she wasn't going on the attack. Like the fight she was having wasn't about power; it was about endurance.
No. I'm not disagreeing that it wasn't about endurance, but I'm just saying she was made to be this overpowered character, whether it be because of her endurance, because of her power, because of her attack, because of her defense, whatever it may be.
Not really. I mean, like the way it was in that particular arc, it wasn't about Urza being overpowered. It was actually quite a lot. There was actually quite a lot of dread in that arc. I don't see that as any establishment of Urza being strong OP. In fact, it was clearly said that they couldn't win with just her, that they needed Laxus and Mystigan over as well. I'm not sure I can agree with your point in this case.
She's OP compared to a lot of the rest of the guild. I mean, she's S-class. I think she was, like I said earlier, she was this reachable goal. She was one of those characters who comes in already at like near maximum, not maximum power, but just this OP phase where everyone else, like, you see her and you're like, oh, why is this character so strong? And then every fight that comes along, I agree, it wasn't a whitewash in every fight, but it was that she had a lot of strategy too. I mean, we've seen all how many armors she has. She has loads of armors. She uses them all uniquely and in such a way that she's able to what's the word? Able to utilize all of it. And she always fought not just with pure power, but with strategy, like you said, and it's just great. But I do think that she was written right in the battle with being overpowered. She was, and then when they all go on a quest together, they're straight up like, oh, well, Urza's always going to be there.
I think so too, but I like I said, I really liked her from the beginning. She was one of my favorite characters to start out with, and it isn't that I had an issue with her. It's just I think the writing around her got really lazy towards the end of the series. Like we stopped seeing her use a lot of her armors and stuff. She just used her Flame Empress on for a long time, right? Is that the one that she uses? Um, like she has a lot of different armors that she could have used and then she didn't, and just the fact that it was just, I don't know, it just felt like she was just there. I wasn't really impressed by anything she did because to me it just felt like lazy writing, but that's an issue I have with the series itself rather than her as a character.
There were times when you would be watching her, and then I can't remember what fight it was yet, but there was a fight that really should have. She would have been able to fight a lot easier, but she just didn't use half her armors. I mean, she's got like what, over 100 armors.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's just like, I'm just gonna use you know what? Let's just use this armor for a little bit, then this armor. I'm not gonna use then she's got a plot armor that we all know which one that one is.
Mm-hmm.
The second origin one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's literally me and my friends literally just call it plot armor because that's what it is. But she has so many armors, but she never utilizes the full amount. But I feel that that's based on if she did utilize the full amount, if Mashima did, she would be this unstoppable character, even more than what she already kind of is.
I just think it would have been really cool to see some more variation in her fighting style, like through using her different arms.
I don't actually mind her winning the fights, but the problem is she should win the fights in a more interesting way. It's not interesting to have a character have all of these things happen to her, like the sense deprivation and the sense of pain elevation, and then she still wins anyway, just through a matter of, punching fists. I mean, I do want to see more variation. I want if she wins the fight through, changing out armor to adapt to the situation. To me, that's a win compared to the other alternatives that we've been seeing for the most part.
And I think one of the things that they focused on early on in the series is how she can equip her different armors as well. So it would have been really cool to see her like move really quickly between those in fights that are harder, and to show that variation that I think was more necessary towards the end of the series, because we're just seeing her doing the same things like for a really long time, and I think it would have made it a lot more interesting to watch rather than it just having a sense of like predictability throughout it.
I agree, but at the same time, I think we might have gotten a little bit off topic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we kind of went on a massive versus a rant tangent.
So, Spidey, what about you?
For all the listeners, blame Michelle. Her Twitter handle will be given out.
It won't. I'm deactivating.
All right, Spidey, what about you? As the head of the little Mashima hub that we have going, I want to hear who your least favorite is.
Macau. He's a pathetic, worthless piece of shit who should have died.
Really? Like, not even as an enjoyable character?
No, he could go kill himself for all I care. I hate him with a passion. He's the worst guild master I say we, like if I'm part of Fairy Tail. The Fairy Tail's ever had. Alright? He taught his son to be nothing more than a coward who runs and hides. It's like, come on, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really vibe with him either.
I didn't mind the character.
I consider him pretty inconsequential.
Yeah.
I'm sure. No, I agree he's inconsequential, but he'd also be better off dead.
Okay.
I did like him, yeah.
My feeling for him matches King's feelings for Happy. It probably exceeds him. It probably exceeds him if I'm being honest.
Bro, that's a really high fucking bar.
That's really high, especially considering we hardly ever see him.
Jesus Christ. When we first met Macau, I was like, oh, he's a cool guy. Okay, that's cool. It's not to save them. That's cool. Whatever. And then we see him more and more, and he taught not to fucking use a jetpack with his freaking legs and shit. That's cool. But then, oh my god, we get to Tenro. we see what he turns the guild into. Motherfuckers turn into farmers because they can't get any goddamn missions. All right, farmers. Motherfuckers were farmers and shit. Had a goddamn windmill and everything. Like,
I
what the
certainly
fuck?
agree that they ended up
That's
being
exactly
very
what-
pathetic, but at the same time, it seems understandable considering that they lost
All their
the
strong-
entirety of their
yeah.
fighting force, and everybody left was considered
That's
average at
okay.
best.
Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. That you didn't have the best people, the best team on the field. That's fine. All right, that's not my problem. My problem is what he made these bitches do.
Yeah,
He made his best friend basically be a little bitch on the side. Oh no, we can't fight. Oh no, Twilight Ogre. They too strong for us. Bitch, please.
Yes,
I-
bitch, please. Valid point.
I
Bitch,
agree.
please.
Like, just because you don't have the
Romeo-
strongest members.
Romeo could have been developed. My God, if he was a decent fucking father, he could have made him use his magic for something other than being Natsu's clone.
Yeah, that's my issue with Romeo.
I just hate Romeo.
I hate Romeo.
So it's like a
Look,
pointless
look,
character.
we
I think
still
it's
had-
ironic that Natsu was a better influence on Romeo than Romeo's own father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natsu was a better father in the span of the first few chapters to Romeo than Macau has been for 545 chapters. Second of all,
Okay.
you were talking about not having a decent team. They still had Biska and Alzak. Yeah, they had a kid, but they still had some decent shooters. They still some decent members. They
Yeah.
had,
But very
They had Matt.
specialized.
they're specialized. But when you're shooting from a distance and you kill someone, it don't matter how special. Well, you don't kill them fairy tale. You get
We're
my
not
point.
talking about assassination missions. Those are illegal.
The thing, what Spidey's trying to say is, like, and I agree with him. You know, Fairy Tail before Tedder was this number one guild. It was great. Yes, they lost their strongest members, and you know, a lot of people then decided to leave. But at the end of the day, Mikao, as the guild master at the time, you've still got to try. I'm sure he did his best to try and make sure that.
Don't try to pay. Don't try to
Okay,
lie.
but he-
You're
he's
don't
arguing
ever
that
lie
with
like
the
that again.
resources he had at hand, he still wasn't able to make the guild
No, don't.
turn around.
Don't.
Is that what you're saying?
Look, I understand it was number one ranked. I would get if you were top 5, top 10 in the guild with everybody leaving. Motherfucker was top 100. Motherfucker was top 100. Went from top 1 to top 100. No, don't give me that shit. You should have died. Twilight. I should have hired Twilight Ogre to, knock the guy out. Just
Yeah, I don't respect him as a character.
dude, he's
Now-
a piece of shit.
All right, let's
Fuck
let Spidey rest his little heart right now. What about your favorite character?
Yeah, it's a good thing you worry about my heart. Favorite character. I'm not gonna say the ones you guys already mentioned, just because I don't want to be a parrot and repeat basically what you said. So I'll say Ichigo. I really like Ichigo. All right.
Are you serious?
I know. Everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
No, Ichi's a nice character. I quite like him.
I thought no, I just thought he was joking every time he brought
I'm
him
pretty
up.
indifferent about Ichiya.
Ichigo has actually grown as a character, and while his man and wonderful perfume do annoy me, he has proven to be invaluable to the Fairy Tail Guild. He has constantly saved their ass. He has constantly been there for them. He even I don't know if you guys read the spin-offs or read the spin-offs at the time, but in Fairy Tail Gaiden, Lightning Gods, he contracted the Thunder Legion and Loxus, but then took them to go save Team Natsu in obviously Albereth, where we saw it in the chapter for the main series. But he has proven to be a valuable asset to Fairy Tail. And let's not forget, he smashes Anna Heartfilia. So he's Lucy's great grandfather or some shit, whatever the lineage is, right? So the dude is a decent fighter, and the dude knows his own flaws, right? So he knows he's not the best fighter. He knows what he looks like. He don't care. He got swag like no one else. He got that drip, if you will, right? So he's always fucking shit up. He's always helping the guild. if I was Makarov, I'd make him a member of the guild. Fuck it. I'd be like, Mikhail, you're gone. Bye. I'll get her. Fuck you. Go to the trash for all I care. Chia, come over here. You're an honorary member.
I can agree with a lot of what you said. Ichi, when I first met him, I was like, who the fuck is this man's? I did not like him, but as the show went on, a lot of times he's portrayed as useless and pathetic, but if you like we said earlier on, if you pay attention, a lot of the stuff that happened because of him. I mean, he saved Team Natsu a lot. He saved was it Thunder Legion he saved?
He did save the Thunder Legion.
Yeah.
He also saved. Let's not forget. He went out like a boss. When we thought he died. He went out like a boss.
He took it like a man, like a real man.
He did what Jalal couldn't do. He fucked Agnologia up. And I was like, damn, son.
He didn't fight him in a one-on-one. He drove him through a portal.
First of all,
he had the man
you were just complimenting Urza for using her resources and her surroundings. My boy Ichiya used his surroundings.
I'm literally saying that Urza's fights would have been better had she done that. I'm saying that it's a different comparison to make, to say that Ichiya did better than Jalal when the fights they were going after was different. When Jalal was trying to fight him in a 1v1, whereas Ichiya's specific mission was to push him through the actual portal thing that was being different situations.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to take away from Ichiya's. Absolutely not. I actually did enjoy that particular chapter that it happened in, but it's just not an excuse to diss Jalal.
No, but like, if you think about it, right, he went through the portal with Acnologia, right? Ichi's not the strongest character. I mean, his magic, in my opinion, is pretty absolutely fucking garbage. But like, Acnologia, we know the threat that he is, and Ichi was still like, you know what? Hey, let's go, blood. I got this. I got all of you. I got this, and he did it. No one else would have done that. Okay, others would have done it.
He even told Anna, don't even worry about this shit. I got it.
Exactly. He took the mantle.
Yeah, he was wrong to do it. I like that. He did it. I'm just saying it's not the same thing as saying, oh, look at Jalal. He was, pathetic and couldn't do it. Literally nobody could have done it aside from Ichiya. It was very specific to him.
It's okay. It's okay. Look, Jalal had his moments and he felt it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, you know what? Fuck you.
It's fine.
Just wait till fucking Mess gets his own series.
Oh shit, Mess boys.
Hey, that's fine. I'm not the one translating it.
I'm pretty sure Mess did get his own series. I'm pretty sure it was Chris Hansen.
What? Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. I think it's been canceled for a while though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Hansen has a YouTube channel now. Anyway,
he has one, but like it's that the rebrand that Mest was on got canceled as well. So sorry, Spidey.
That's fine with me. Either way, it's fine.
Yeah, it's better for you, right?
Fuck that. I would have to create a new website for that series alone. Oh, but another favorite character, I'm surprised we didn't say Wendy, because she's had the most growth and development.
I really like Wendy.
Yeah, but
I think she's cool and all, but she wouldn't be up there for me.
I really, really like her. I think she's really cute, but just also I really like her growth throughout the series as well. Like I said, I'm a fan of like character growth, and I don't know. I think she's a really interesting character.
That shit was funny though.
Hmm?
That shit was funny. The point is, we could all agree Ichiya is better than Jalal. Thanks.
We cannot all agree, but
all right, let's not start another 25-minute argument because the editor has to go through this.
2 hours later.
Wait, speaking of Jalal though, my cousin who doesn't watch Fairy Tail, doesn't really know much about it, was trying to convince me that she's watched it and that she knew it, and she was like, "Yeah, aren't like Jalal and Happy in love?" And I was like,
"That's when you say yes."
Yeah.
Does your cousin like somehow have the inside track on what I hate?
Sounds like it.
Sounds like Michelle's just trying to be a troll. Or maybe Michelle's cousin was reading her fan fiction. The world will never know.
Oh.
My fan fiction my plot was actually really good. I'm not even gonna lie.
We should we are taking a bit longer, but it's fine because we're getting the hang of this, right?
Yeah.
Just briefly, I wanted to hear your guys' best and worst arc. But yeah, let me speak first. Your best and your least favorite arcs of the series. Michelle.
Best, I really liked the Tower of Heaven arc. I really liked the first half of the Grand Magic Games arc and how that was developed because I liked seeing everyone's fights bar Mary Jane.
Wow.
She didn't get to
That,
fucking
that,
fight, and that really annoyed
well,
me.
that was a fight. That was a bikini fight.
It was
A fight is
bullshit.
a fight. A fight is
It
a
was
fight.
bullshit.
A fight
It
is
was
a
pretty
fight.
bullshit. I mean, I
It was
like it as a
bullshit.
guy,
I was
but it is pretty
mad.
bullshit.
Because I really liked Mary Jane in the first half of the series. I really liked her
What
fights.
did
I
you
really
like
liked.
about Mary Jane? The bartending skills? She has nothing to do.
She had some really cool fights early on in the series.
She had one
Bro,
against
her
Free.
first fight's like episode 45.
She had one
had,
against
like-
Free, if I'm not mistaken, and she had one against Juvia. And that's about
Yep. That's it.
No, she had other fights.
it. Name them. I'll wait.
Anyways, she just for her ability, they should have developed her more, and I'm mad that they didn't. But anyway, I didn't like the arc where all the celestial spirits went
arc,
a bit whack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Eclipse arc. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that arc is
We don't talk
At
about
least-
that arc.
at least Gray went full Michael Jackson and Connor went Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, he
But
didn't
that
quite go
fucking
full
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Michael Jackson.
I-
You never go full Michael Jackson.
That fucking Yu-Gi-Oh game pissed me
You know
off.
what? No, what pissed me off the most was Lucy and Virgo's obsession with the fucking mayonnaise.
Yeah,
the-
that was
Yeah.
weird too.
What the flying fuck was that? God, and then oh my god. Anyway,
I have a feeling I didn't like the Sun Village arc either.
you have a feeling, but you don't know.
You mentioned that to me before that you didn't. That you enjoyed the arc for what it was, but it was definitely low on your ranking.
Like, I'm pretty sure I can't really remember anything about it now, if I'm honest. So I feel like that says a lot.
Yeah, it was where they went to the Sun Village.
I mean, it's like
where,
15 chapters ish. I mean, it's
yeah.
not
It's a
surprising that you don't really remember.
Yeah.
That's the one where they met Warren Sequin.
Yep.
Wasn't that
Yeah,
the one?
they met them. They had a little bathtub, and then they had that little moment where Natsu and Urza were. Yeah.
I
so,
liked the Key of the
Gav-
Starry arc,
So,
the Starry Sky arc.
That was
With
another
the-
filler arc.
you like the filler arcs, Michelle? I'm talking
It
about
was the
filler
one
arcs.
with the infinity clock thing.
The one where she.
I
Lucy
thought
turns into
that
a
was really
fish.
cool.
Yeah,
I just liked
that
Michelle
arc was-
Lobster, and I liked that we had Lucy's backstory and stuff with her family.
You mean we didn't have her backstory before?
No, but I
Oh,
just
we
liked that
do.
they. Fuck you! I literally said my favorite arc was the Tenor Island arc. No, the Tower of Heaven arc, but I like the Tenor Island one as well.
Damn.
Dav. So I hope you could follow directions and follow the question. What is your favorite and least favorite arc? Not arcs.
Arcs. Oh, we're gonna do an arc. All right. Favorite arc. I won't go with Tower of Heaven. That is it. But we spoke about that one. Battle of Fairy Tail. It's the first little indicator that we get that the Dragon Slayers aren't 18 or whatever age everyone thinks they are. But it's also, you get to see a lot of the members of Fairy Tail. You get to see their magic all together, and the fights that happen. Some of the fights are great. And then
you know whose magic you don't see? Macau's. You know why? Because Macau's a little bitch.
and you see, you realize Fairy Tail during it, everyone's in this war, and they're all fighting each other, and everyone's just out for themselves. But then you get to the end, and you realize that everyone kind of makes up, and that's what Fairy Tail's about. Like at the end of the day, you've always got each other's back. But you meet the Thunder Legion. Thunder Legion walks in, and you're like, "Oh shit, these guys are OP." And by the end of it, you realize they're all fucking useless. But then you meet Loxus, this absolute powerhouse of a maniac that just wants to destroy the entire town because he's having little daddy problems. He's like, I want the guild. My dad got kicked out, but I want the guild. And then the fight that happens at the end. Well, I mean, that's where we see Mystigan's magic for the first time. I think it is.
Yeah, you're right.
I
It
think
is.
Yeah, So you see his Mystica's magic for the first time in a fight, like not just the sleep side of it.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I was like, oh shit, Mystica's about to do some shit. Has like a 3-minute fight and then dips, and I'm like, okay, well, all right. But
Yeah,
then
he
the
got
whole fight,
unmasked. He got
exactly, he gets
exposed, and
unmasked
he
and
was
you
like a
realize who
mountain.
he is. And then the fight with Gargiel, well, the 3 Dragon Slayers, that was great. It was awesome. For least favorite arc, okay, well, it would have been the Celestial
In the
Spirit arc.
eclipse, yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, we don't speak of that.
No, if I'll choose another one out of them. I didn't really like the Loki arc purely because I know it was really short. I enjoyed the aspect that we got to learn about Loki, but Loki to me is just this meh, like just a shit character. Every time he was on screen, I'm just like, dude, do something. Don't just get smacked up this time. Like that was the only time I was just like, I could have done without that arc for a bit. It'd be like 2 episodes instead of 5 or however many episodes it was. I think it was 3. 5
Yeah,
chapters, yeah.
it was something around there. Yeah, that was very low. With King, do you want to go next, or should I go next?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it quick. They already said Tower of Heaven, so that's actually my favorite too. So I'm just gonna tell you my second favorite, which is the Phantom Lord arc. I think it was a great intro for Gajeel. I thought the idea of getting your first guild war was pretty good. There's like I said earlier, a real sense of despair after the Master is down, and then Urza is down, and the other S-class mages aren't there. But it still shows that the rest of the guild can find a way to work together and take down their enemy. I think Natsu and Gajeel had a great fight that didn't involve anybody being OP. It was actually like a matter of partially teamwork, but also just determination and strength. Graves versus Juvia, it was pretty good too. The anime actually did a pretty good add-on when they had Elfman fight that wood guy Saul. And the other fights were kind of short, but for the most part, I thought it was actually a pretty good arc in terms of the main plot, and then the ending with Lucy and her dad. I thought that was a pretty good way to conclude everything. My least favorite arc is the Tartarus arc. I thought that the fights for the most part weren't very good. I think there was a lot of forced fan service. I didn't think the plot worked very well, and I just really did not like the ending. That's it.
I really liked Lucy's part in the Tartarus Arc, though.
There are good parts to the arc, but for the most part, I did not find myself enjoying it.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I remember when I was reading it, I didn't really enjoy it, and the only memorable thing, I feel like I said Tartarus Arc was one of my favorites before, but I feel like that's purely because of Lucy's part of it.
The Tartarus arc was more of everything that Fairy Tail isn't, and I feel like Mashima just tried to get a new audience by doing that. I mean, he forced killed everyone in the Magic Council, even though they were irrelevant, and then he tried to hide all these other interactions and other character dynamics that I just didn't like. And not to mention the forced power ups that he was giving left and right. I was
Yeah, that's completely fair.
My favorite arc is probably the Daphne arc because you guys said I love Tenro, but I'm gonna go with the unpopular opinion. I like the Daphne arc because it really develops Natsu as a character. It fleshes him out. It just doesn't make him this idiot that doesn't know about friendship or love or anything. You saw this clear affection he had towards Lasana before she got bitch slapped all the way to Edolas. And you see how much of an impact he had on both Elfman and Miragen. He essentially made Elfman who he is. Yes, it's filler. Yes, it's debatable. Yeah. I get it. Okay. But it really shows his value to the guild. He literally is the soul of the guild as well. I really like that. King of Uncool took one of my fucking least favorite arcs. I hated Tower of Heaven not Tower of Heaven. I hated Tartarus so much that I think I skipped it initially. I think I didn't even read it.
I think I completely skipped over the Daphne arc. I have no recollection of it at all.
It's anime only, so it's not a surprise.
There was 7 episodes, I think.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I skipped it.
It's like
fairly
5
short.
episodes. Like 5 episodes, maybe less. Anyway, least favorite arc would be when the Fairy Tail Guild comes back. Because we have Macau's stupid, irrelevant bitch ass become Guildmaster.
Oh yeah,
And
when
we
they all
just learn,
burst back in.
we see how much of a shithole the guild turned into because of Macau and his pathetic leadership. Really hate that, man.
X79 one arc. That's it.
If I had 3 wishes, they'd all be to kill Macau. Just kill him off. Fuck it. Kill him off. Kill him off again. Kill him off one more time. Just make sure he doesn't come back. But that's about it. So we've talked quite a bit about Fairy Tail. I feel like we've talked about it a little too long. So I want to just ask, do you guys read Eden Zero?
I
If
do not.
so, what? Whoa. Okay, fine. Did you not? Why is that?
I don't know. I just haven't decided that I want to commit the time to it.
But why?
I have no specific motivation to do so. I haven't heard anything that makes me think that this is an amazing manga that I'm going to enjoy diving into.
How do you go?
All right. Okay, King. I want one thing from you, right? Talk more in the Discord server in the general chat, because then you'll see the love that Eden Zero has. Eden Zero for me is where I'm at. It's getting to it where it's even better than Fairy Tail. The way it's been written, there was a forward at the end of, I think it was volume 3, where Mashima himself talks about how he's writing the story, where he's saying with Rave Master he kind of plotted it here and there, but didn't really delve too much into the detail. But then with
So I'll clarify for you then, because I remember this. So basically, Rave Master, he had a clear goal. He was very detail oriented with it. Fairy Tail, he was winging it as he went. With Eden Zero, he knows the specific plot points and he knows some key points he wants. How he gets there, he's somewhat winging it, but at the same time, he's taking a more analytical approach to it, where he's making sure it makes sense and it's consistent with the story, as opposed to Fairy Tail, which sometimes felt like it was moving rapidly, where you don't have that issue with Eden Zero. It's gradually building up. And I must say, I'll give you this comparison. Fairy Tail and Eden Zero is basically this. Eden Zero is basically Amazing Spider-Man, where it takes away all the corniness, all the cheese, all of the random shenanigans from the original Spider-Man movie, but makes it better. It's the same thing with Eden Zero, right? There's a lot of corniness in Fairy Tail, and I fuck it, I don't give a fuck. I love it. Favorite series of all time, right? But there's a lot of things that you won't like, and people hate the fact that there's all these villains are redeemable in some capacity or another. With Eden Zero, that's not the case. Eden Zero, you hate these motherfuckers. The battles are actually not thought-provoking, but they're very well developed. Everything you wanted from Urza is basically what you get in Eden Zero, where there's more analysis, there's more focus, there's more
detail.
Detail. Everything is there. It's 87 chapters in, so it's not too late to start, because once it gets longer, you're gonna be like, fuck, it's however so many chapters in. And the art is very detailed and very glorious. It reminds me of his old Tenor Island arc, where he was very focused, where the backgrounds they're not that they were lazily done, but there wasn't as much detail or focus on it. It's very, very well done. There is some little cameos that you see with the characters from Fairy Tail, but that's just Easter eggs for the fan. But it is so well done. And the side characters, you know how you hate the mascots? These mascots are actually relevant and useful, which is shocking.
Go on the point.
I mean, I don't want to get into too much detail of it, though I will say that there was a specific moment in Chapter 2 that I did happen to read and that I did enjoy very much. If you guys remember that chapter, you'll probably remember what the moment was.
Yes.
I will say, though, that I do appreciate the comparison between the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies and the Amazing Spider-Man movies, because I am actually a fan of the Andrew Garfield movies more so than Tobey Maguire's.
Yes! Yes! Oh my god! This is why you're on the podcast. This is why everything else you said was suspect in the beginning. But oh my god! I'm crying
Anyway,
right now.
I do like the fact that you are talking about villains who are not necessarily redeemable, or at least not easily so, because I did think that was one issue that I had with Fairy Tail. But I will put, let's say I will put Eden Zero on the back burner for now and more strongly consider picking it up later.
I need you to read, what is it, chapter 82 or 83? It's one of these most recent chapters, because, my God, reading that chapter will make you realize you're not in Fairy Tail anymore. The amount, oh my God, and I hate that none of you are caught up with the series, because, oh my God.
Don't worry. By next chapter, fam. By next episode, I'll be caught up. By next episode, and we can go off.
And I will look into it at a point in the future.
I am currently working on it. I'm reading both 100 Years Quest and Eden Zero at the moment. And I'm enjoying both. I'm just a slow reader, but I'll get there.
So, King, are you reading Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, or you're also not reading that?
Oh no, I am reading that, and I also am up to date with that one.
Well, Dav, I know you recently caught up just to be part of this. Michelle just said she's reading it. What other series? I mean, there's not really much to talk about because you guys aren't really caught up.
Territory.
Yeah. So we could just wrap things up if you guys want to give like the little anime recommendation or leave on a final note. Dav, if you want to start.
Haikyuu.
Dav, not Michelle.
I think everyone knows the anime recommendation I'm going to throw out there, since I always turn the Discord into it for some reason. It's just Fate, the Fate series as a whole. Bunch of wizards, smart mages who summon familiars from the past. For example, William Shakespeare, King Arthur, and so on. They get summoned, and they are overly powered. And there's a war going on for the Holy Grail, which then grants any wish that they want, as long as they win. That's what that's about. But the fights are amazing. The story is great. There's so much of a rabbit hole to dive into. I won't go on for too long because I can talk for hours about it. But there's so many different stories. And this year alone, we've got more animes and movies coming out for Fate, and it's just going to keep developing. Michelle, you want to talk about your haiku?
Haikyuu, but yeah, I really like Haikyuu. I recommend that to everyone. And I feel like there's no point recommending Demon Slayer because it's a pretty mainstream anime, but I do really enjoy that, and that's one of the mangas that I'm reading at the moment. But in terms of anime recommendations that people wouldn't really have heard, there's this anime called Orange, and it's like a slice of life one, and I think it's a really nice anime to watch, especially now that like everyone's kind of on lockdown. I think people need to focus on mental health and stuff, and I think that's a really good to watch. So that's something that I haven't actually really recommended to people before, but it's one that I really like, and that is called Orange.
King of Uncool. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I got plenty of anime that I could recommend, so I'm not going to go with like one of my favorites. I'm actually going to go with one that's slightly less popular, but I think a good number of people will probably still at least have heard of it at some point or another. I'm going to say Shirobako. It's about a group of... Okay, I'm glad to hear you think so. It's about a group of people who work in an anime studio, so they make anime, so it kind of takes you through a fictionalized version of the anime making process, including art direction, storyboarding, dubbing, remote voice acting, rather, because it's Japanese. But it's a really great group of characters. Even though the plot seems kind of boring, it is actually pretty dramatic at some points. It's really well animated. It's got a pretty decent soundtrack as well, and it is pretty unique. And considering the tragedy that happened last year with Kyoto Animation, I think that it's something that if people watch, they'll get a bit more appreciation for the difficulties of being on the production side of anime. So yeah, that's my recommendation.
Spidey.
All I recommend is either My Hero Academia.
Oh, I'm really enjoying that
Or
at the moment.
it's a great series. It's a great series. It's X-Men anime style.
Yes.
It literally is.
Yeah.
And then another one would be it's a romance anime.
Which one?
My Love Story. It's pretty cute.
Say that again?
Takeo-kun. My Love Story, or Oro Monogatari, or whatever it's called. I don't remember the exact name. It's 12 episodes. It doesn't really have the cliche. They don't understand each other, and there's a lot of misunderstandings. It really isn't. So it's fantastic. I highly recommend that. But like Michelle had said, we're all in lockdown, so everybody stay safe, wash your hands, social distance, stay home, watch anime, play games, do something. Just be safe out there, guys.
Yeah,
So
and on top of
with
that,
go ahead.
Pretty much.
on top of what Spade just said, if there's something that any of you listeners want us to talk about in future episodes, come into the Discord. You can ping, or you can just post in the in the guild hall. Someone will see it and let us know. If there's something you want us to talk about, something you want us to bring up, tell us. We'll see what we can do. We'll try and incorporate it. The more we can adjust this podcast to the viewers and the listeners, the better it's going to be for everyone, for us, for you guys. We have what we want to talk about, but we also want to make sure that we were talking about stuff that you guys want to hear.
Yeah,
Because we want to keep you guys engaged.
Yeah, exactly. We just want to keep you guys engaged. This is just an introduction. We're testing things out. We're trying new things. We're just trying to give you a better sense of who we are, what our likes or dislikes. So, quick rapid fire. Each of you guys say the fairy tale pairing you hate with a passion, and then we sign off. Dav,
Wait, say us what? Say what?
the fairy tale pairing you hate with a passion.
Fairy
Just
tale
don't
parent, I hate
explain
with a
why.
passion.
Don't say why. Just leave it ambiguous. Say which one, and that's it.
The one with Wendy and Mist, whatever they call it.
Ooh!
Michelle.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle.
Natsu and Lisana.
King of Uncool.
Gadriel and Levy.
Holy shit!
Spidey.
You
Spidey,
really are king of unpopular opinion.
My the pairing I hate the most is Nalu. Nah, I'm just fucking with you guys. The pairing I actually hate is which one do I hate? Oh,
Romeo
Happy and Carla.
Happy and Carla.
No, Happy and Carla. All right, guys.
Actually, yeah,
Okay.
Peace out.
that one. Peace.
Later.
Bye!